rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meeting of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Cedar Grove Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be advertised by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on bulletin boards in the district, published and/or transmitted to the Verona Cedar Grove Times and Star Ledger newspapers, filed with the township clerk, and posted on the district's website. May I have roll call, please?
Mrs. Dye?
Here.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Here.
And Mr. Sakala?
Here. At this time, I will open the meeting up to the public for comment for any items that are on the agenda. Hearing none, move on. Good evening.
Hi, Mr. Sakala.
We have short staff tonight, but we do have a quorum. Does anyone have any committee reports this evening?
Were
No?
you going to say
Okay.
something? You look like you were going to. No.
No.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I attended the middle school fundraiser. They had a bunco night last Friday at the South End Firehouse, and I think it was probably about 43 or so people that attended. And for those of you that don't know what bunco is, it's a dice game that you play, and it was a lot of fun. And there were a number of teachers that came, and Ms. Sloda came as well, and so did the new middle school principal, Mrs. Iad, and we had a good time. Special thanks to Lori Downs and Cheryl Brown, who organized the event. They did a great job, and it was well run, and we had a good time.
Very good. Thank you. And I will just also, since Mrs. Burke is not here, I will just note that North End is having their major fundraiser on April 4th, Run for the Roses. So to the public, please come out and support North End and the Run for the Roses fundraiser. We have no board presentations, Mr. Featherman?
We do not.
Okay, so why don't we move on the agenda? From the Office of the Business Administrator and Board Secretary, may I have a motion under minutes for B1 through B4? And B1 is a motion to approve the public and executive minutes of March 18, 2014. B2 is a motion to approve the budgetary transfers for the month of February and March 2014. B3 is a motion to approve the treasurer's report for the month of February 2014. And B4 is a motion to approve the board secretary certification to the Board of Education pursuant to the administrative code set forth therein, that no line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which in total exceed the line item appropriation in violation of the administrative code. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under bills, may I have a motion for B5, which is a motion to pay the bills as listed therein, and we have the backup on that in our packets. May I have a motion, please, for B5?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Under business, may I have a motion for B6 and B7? B6 is a motion to retroactively approve waiving the fee for the use of the Memorial Middle School cafeteria, as well as the associated custodial cost for the Cedar Grove Soccer Club on March 22nd and March 26, 2014. And B7 is a motion to approve the submittal of SDA project number as listed, Cedar Grove High School Media Center door installation, to the New Jersey Department of Education for approval. The district is not seeking state funding for this project. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. Mr. Featherman, we have a superintendent's report this evening.
We do. Thank you, Mr. Sakala. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see you. There are a number of strategies and initiatives going on in the district. I'd just like to talk a bit about them before we get into the building level goings-ons. In terms of curriculum, we are initiating a textbook committee for K-5 to evaluate 3 or more programs. We are working with McGraw-Hill to pilot a My Math in K through 5. So what's on the table right now is the purchase for grade 5 materials only, and what McGraw-Hill has offered to do is supply us with a 1 class per grade in grades K through 4 gratis. So we're very interested in looking at that math program. Promoting mathematics in our schools, what's been going on? Well, here's just a small sample of that. We're looking to introduce AP statistics. In fact, since we've launched the idea, we've had an overwhelming response. We are well into double digits in terms of enrollment for September. The kids are excited about it. Early enrollment numbers are healthy. So we're looking forward to welcoming AP Stats to Cedar Grove High School. We're also looking closely at our computer programming course. It's currently a half-year program. We would like to run that a full year and really sort of overhaul what it is that we do in there. Bringing computer science closer to fruition for our high school students. We continue to network with professional organizations. Again, our focus this year and for the foreseeable future will be on the Common Core, its implementation, as well as developing our teachers' ability to deliver effective instruction relative to that Common Core. So you'll see throughout the superintendent's report the things we've been working on ad nauseum to support our staff in that endeavor. Preparations for Park continue. In fact, today we launched the pilot field test here at North End. We are only piloting with the grades 3 and 4 students in language arts. It went very well today. We had very, very few. We did have one glitch that happened to deal with the pop-up browser, but it was easily rectified, and the testing session went very well. So we're very pleased to be working with the state on this pilot field test. We're learning things, they're learning things, and we're happy to be a part of the initiative. Preparations also continue for NJ Ask. This is the last year that we'll be using the NJ Ask test, so its importance is not diminished. It's not lost on us. So our supervisors and principals are working very carefully with our teachers, very closely, to make sure that those preparations also continue. Now remember, the NJ Ask is Common Core aligned, so it's not as though we're double dipping here. I mean, the focus is on the Common Core, and that's reflected in the NJ Ask this year. So the focus is there.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Your park students that are piloting program, they don't have to. Do they have to take Ask?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot of testing, and that was really the main drawback to inviting Park to come here. It's that you're parking and you're
piloting with
asking.
those student, right. I didn't know if they'd have
Yeah.
to sit for the ask as well.
They do. The Park field test will not be used in these students' portfolios, so
Gotcha.
the NJ Ask is still
Okay.
required. In reference to Board of Ed goal number 2, the Friday folder is operational. I just want to say to the public, thank you for allowing us to transition to this mechanism. Change is difficult, we know that, and we're asking people to do things in a different manner. And, progress was slow early on, but again, it's accelerating rapidly, and I thank you for that. To further promote what we do here, you can follow me on Twitter at CGSSuper. Why not? Okay? People ask me why, and I say, Mr. D'Angelo, why not? Right? So if you're so inclined,
That sounded fake.
follow me on
I thought he
Twitter.
was making
All
it
right?
up.
This is true. So
But it's written right there.
it's there. It's true. I tweeted tonight about the board meeting, so maybe that's why we have some folks that are not.
Overwhelming crowd.
And let me-
gotta join
let me
Twitter just
add
for
what
that.
I know,
Let me just add, we
absolutely.
talked about in executive that you do not have to be on Twitter to follow somebody on
Thank you.
Twitter.
That's true.
Oh,
Just
Absolutely.
text 40404. That would be your
How many
text.
fours?
40404.
Right?
And then just put follow CGS Super. And anytime
space.
follow space CGS Super. And anytime Mr. Featherman tweets, you will get a text.
I tell you.
That's awesome.
All right, do we have to put the at sign
How
too,
often
or
do you
no?
tweet?
We're gonna
No,
find out.
You don't have to put the You do not have to put the at sign.
Okay,
Just follow CGS Super.
CG.
All right.
Super. That's
You know, a wise man told me recently that if you're not telling your story, somebody else will. So we'll do what we can to promote what it is that's going on.
good stuff right there.
You know, so onward
can
we
you
go.
unfollow too? How does that work?
Can we un-4?
You know-
04040.
She thanks for the support. I mean, she's unfollowing me already. I mean, you know,
Just leaving it open for the crowd, you
just
know?
throwing it out there.
They want options.
No, that's great. Good. I can't wait.
All right.
And well, we're moving to Instagram and Facebook soon, so stay tuned. You just wait. Oh my goodness. Jesus, my kids laugh at me, but anyway. So moving on to building level initiatives. Congratulations to Natalie Peralta on her selection as the CGHS Student of the Month for World Languages. Congratulations, Natalie. I'd be remiss if I didn't say congratulations to the boys basketball team. I know this is old news, but they really gave us a thrill this year. I mean, to watch these guys grow as we have together from freshmen to what they produced this year, Coach Gogarty and his staff, you know, wow. So kudos to those young men for making us even more proud to be Panthers. Again, more old news, but worthy of the revisit. Shrek was a smash hit. I mean, near capacity crowds, what can be said now that hasn't already been said? Just a tremendous, tremendous show. Their Tony Awards is Thursday night, and I understand there's over 150 people scheduled to attend, so it's grown in leaps and bounds. I wanted to just give kudos to the Cedar Grove Red Cross. They held their second blood drive of the year yesterday, and so they're really, you know, they're new to this business, but they're really making their mark. So kudos to the Cedar Grove Red Cross Club. Congratulations also to Michael Bianchino for his self-portraits and other drawings, which were showcased at the Walsh Gallery at Seton Hall University. Michael has been accepted into the School of Visual Arts in New York. If you've not seen Michael's work, seek him out. He is one talented young man. We wish him well. Moving along the report here, jumping to athletics, congratulations to Jillian Goldberg and Elena Zucchino for earning second-team all-conference honors in girls basketball. Congratulations to Paul Rufo, Joe Slattery, and David Njoku for earning first-team all-conference honors in boys basketball. Also, congratulations to Rodney DePrenda for earning first-team all-conference, and Chris Barone for earning second-team all-conference honors in wrestling. Nice job, young men and women. Moving down to Memorial Middle School. Due in large part to the efforts of Ms. Erica Cerrone, our language arts teacher, the MMS Media Center has been open for 2 periods a day, 4 days a week, for students to borrow books. This has been going on since the beginning of the spring semester. She's doing an internship program and has allowed us to offer Media Center support to our young kids there. Many students are taking advantage of this, and you know, check out the site there if you're interested in what's going on. Students within the technology cycle at MMS have been participating in group projects using Google Docs and their Google Apps accounts. This is allowing them to work collaboratively from home. As you may know, in September, we're going to fully launch our Google Apps and Google Email, so we will be a CG Schools district. We're transitioning now. I'm one of the last holdouts that is having my K-12 email forwarded. So over the summer, the last of us will transition to Google Email, and off we go. Of course, the students are way ahead of us. I just wanted to point out the Random Acts of Kindness group. Did you know we had a Random Acts of Kindness group? Well, we do. And they're doing wonderful work. They made cards for children at St. Joseph's Children's Hospital. They also create colored pictures for colorasmile.org. These pictures are sent to nursing homes and hospitals and other institutions. So, way to go. Down to South End, just a couple of quick updates there. Under Mrs. Lohman's guidance, our nurse, South End will partake in National Walking Day on April 2nd and continue through the month of April. Children will chart to keep track of how many minutes they are walking at home for 4 weeks. Not bad. Jumping to North End, I'll follow Mr. Sakala's lead there. I promised I would plug it one more time. Don't forget, please, join us for the Run for the Roses fundraiser. There are so many ways to support the FSA, and this is one of them. I hope to see you there. My wife and I are looking forward to the event. It's April 4th. Make a donation, sponsor a horse. It's going to be a great night. And last but certainly not least, the Gifted and Talented program. Mrs. Hill is in the process of creating a new program called Near Peers, in conjunction with the high school this time. Near Peers will involve shadowing a high school senior for a day. At the conclusion of the day, each student will write a brief near peer narrative about their experience. It's a nice tradition we hope to establish and look to extend the program in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Featherman. Moving on the agenda, from the Office of the Superintendent of Schools, under Personnel, may I have a motion for S1 through S5? S1 is to approve the superintendent's report, as we just heard. S2 is a motion to reimburse the school volunteers as listed. And S3 is a motion to approve the school volunteers as listed. S4 is a motion to authorize the attendance at the events as listed. And S5 is a motion to approve the leaves of absences as listed. Two more maternity leaves. May I have a motion for those items, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Just that S3 is listed twice.
Yes, I only read off S3 one time, but we'll
You did.
strike that from the agenda. Good.
That's
Good.
it.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dye?
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli?
Aye.
And Mr. Sakala?
Yes. The meeting is now open to the public for comment for items that are on or off the agenda. Here, okay.
Good evening. Good evening. Tom D'Angelo, 43 Rockledge Place. Wanted to come by tonight to about baseball, high school baseball field conditions. My son's on the team. I know there's a lot of kids, and the field is usually in rough shape, to say the least. And this year, with the bad winter and a fire truck apparently drove across the field, leaving some divots and drainage issues, and it's come to be a little bit of a safety thing for the boys. And I had emailed out the principal and superintendent. They both got back to me promptly. Thank you very much. But I figured if I come to the board, maybe you guys can do something to move in the direction of getting the field safe and playable, and not even, maybe an improvement or two. Like the football field practices on our outfield all through the football season to save their field, and now we're looking at a big dirt spot. There's tremendous drainage issues on the third base line, and field doesn't drain. If it rains, sometimes if it's only cloudy, we have to call games because the field just doesn't properly drain, and it leaves the field in bad condition. My son plays the infield, and a lot of times those balls come off on the uneven field, and just it could be a real health hazard. Thank God he has quick reflexes, but I would just wonder, is there anything that you could do to expedite or get the field playable, and in the future maybe do some improvements, because the backstop has been there since 1962, and the field could use some new sod on the infield and re-leveling. Is there any way we can get this on the agenda, or can we get any help in any way?
Let me just say, first of all, thank you for bringing this to our attention, although it's not news to us. Of course, we know how the condition of the field is. I'm going to let Mr. Featherman address the short-term issues, because we did talk about that this evening in our executive session.
Okay.
And I'll just turn the mic over to him in a second. We do have some ideas for some long-range solutions to the problem. Right now, they still are in our long-range plans, although not long-range 10 years from now, long-range and, within the next, the next school year or so. But we're that's not something that we can really discuss at this point, but do know that it's on our minds. We know about it. We don't like it. Quite frankly, we don't want to hear that we're canceling games or sending our kids to other schools to play their games. So that's something that we are aware of it, and we would like to deal with it. And in terms of the short-term issues.
Sure. Let me just echo some of that. I mean, I don't have to sit here and remind anybody in here how committed Mr. Mangielli and myself and this board is to, providing the best facilities for our kids, the best services, the best teachers, the best environment, period. And it's been frustrating for us, given the freeze-thaw cycle that we're up against. You're probably aware that we brought in the landscaper that specializes in doing our field, and they've told us that until the freeze-thaw cycle abates, it will be very difficult for us to take care of at least some of those issues. So what are we committed to doing right now? What have we done? Well, as you know, we've smoothed out those tire track areas to the best degree we can, given the freeze-thaw cycle that's continuing. But just today, we met with Ms. Tavernier and Mr. Gaeta, and we're committed to a fairly expensive project where we're bringing in a whole host of topsoil and seed, and we're going to patch that hole that's in the outfield that we know is there. This is not a permanent fix, we know that, but clearly the issue is safety, number one, and getting this field up and running for this year. And we've actually brought the landscaper back in a second time, and they are assuring us that we're first on the priority list. And just as soon as the warmer weather comes in, where it's not freezing again at night, we've got a pretty aggressive plan to patch up that outfield. In terms of the infield, we don't have a plan this year to approach it aggressively as we do for next year. I'm really not comfortable talking about what we have planned for next year. I mean, it's not an overhaul where we're turfing the place, but we do have some money carved out to more aggressively address the infield area in particular, sodding the apron and some other things. But our guys will get out there as soon as we can. The hired hand that is a specialist in this area will be out there opening that field up, putting new clay down, paying attention to the apron areas that we are aware can be a problem, and we're going to plug in that outfield as best we can. We're not in the position now to address the drainage issue that we know exists. That's part of a longer-term solution.
Well, since I'm up here, and since you commented on basketball schedule, team, I did notice there's not a lot of nighttime games. And I know this pep squad really comes out, and it was nice to see the student body come together.
Yeah.
Is there anything anybody can do to maybe get a few more nighttime games in there? Because a lot of parents can't get to a 4 o'clock varsity game.
Sure.
That's an issue. I was just wondering, because I really did enjoy it. It was great to see the kids play and see all the student body in the pep club. Is there any way to get maybe more nighttime games on the schedule for next season?
It's certainly something to talk about. I know
Okay.
some of the schools that we play have some concerns about coming and going
Nighttime?
at nighttime. But that aside, we're certainly excited about the possibility of playing more games at night. I mean, like you said, when we were there, as many times we were, what an environment, right? What an atmosphere. It's
Real nice.
collegiate. It's a big part of who we are, our identity, our culture. So yeah,
Great.
great idea.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard? Okay, I'll close that portion of the meeting, and I will make announcement of future meetings. We have a meeting on April the 15th in the North End Media Center, right here, 7 p.m. for the executive session, 8 p.m. for the regular meeting. And that's the changed date, right? That's the new date that we changed to? Okay, so it'll be April 15th. And that will be followed by our April 29th meeting, which will be our budget hearing. I got it right this time?
Nailed it.
Here in the North End Media Center, 7 o'clock executive session, 8 p.m. regular meeting. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dye,
Yes.
Mrs. Marinelli,
Aye.
and Mr. Sakala.
Yes, this meeting is adjourned.